welcome to Mustang News. I'm Caroline Harden here with Joy Parish. Our top stories for today are how students prep for the ACT, DMA senior plans after high school, and a teacher spotlight on Miss Jean. We'll listen more here on Mustang News. The Public School Forum of North Carolina recently issued a set of priorities for the General Assembly as it gets its new session started. North Carolina currently ranks 49 out of 50 U.S. states in terms of state funding efforts for public education, and it is also in the bottom 3 for per student found spending. The firm's first priority asks the General Assembly to emphasize equity in how funds are distributed. A lot of states allocate funds based on the students' needs at each school, but North Carolina is one of 10 states that does not. The second priority is to increase teacher salaries because of the loss of educators to neighboring states. The group's third priority is to expand mental health programs, which would be another incentive to attract and retain high-quality teachers. Finally, they asked for a new model of measuring a school's performance because North Carolina has one of the lowest rates for holding the performances accountable. Regardless of political party, these issues interest a lot of lawmakers that need to be fixed.
Our next story is about the DMA seniors' plans after high school, presented by George Daniels and Gustavo Torres.
Hi, I'm Gustavo Torres, and today we will be talking to Digital Media Academy seniors about their plans after high school and how the teachers of DMA are helping the students through this process. We interviewed 2 students from the Digital Media Academy to learn their plans and how these last 4 years in the academy have prepared them for college.
Ms. Williams really helped me. She helped me write my essay, which ended up being really good. It got way better from when we first started. And Mr. Williams and Mr. Petty wrote my college recommendations.
They've given me tons of letters of recommendation. They've helped me out in finding colleges, finding college scholarships. So overall, they've been a big help in finding what college I should have gone to in the end.
We help students prepare for college in the academy by putting a lot of the responsibility of their learning on them. One of the big differences between high school and college is students, once they enter college, are expected to really be self-starters, self-motivators, and be able to kind of take ownership of their own education and less sort of one-on-one time with their teachers or professors.
Academy seniors are well prepared for whatever they choose to do next. I'm Gustavo Torres, and this is Mustang News.
More families will be able to stay at their current school next year under a revised student assignment plan proposed by the Wake County Public School System. 4 new schools are opening next year, which is causing a lot of movement of neighborhoods in Wake County's fastest growing areas, where many schools are already very overcrowded. Frustrated families have started petitions, spoken at board meetings, and called and emailed staff. This is the second draft of the assignment plan for the 2025-26 school year. The district will hold a public hearing November 12th before voting on a final draft of the plan November 26th. Wake County has updated its proposal to also include feedback received and explanations for many decisions.
Next, we have Travis Chapman and Hayden Terpolowski to talk about budget cuts and the Teacher Academy.
The Trump administration is attempting to pass an executive order to destroy the Department of Education. How will this affect the students and teachers?
Because, our school relies, all of that, this is a public school, so it relies on federal funding to get anything to work, and it's already struggling. Reducing that money could just make things worse, I feel, all around.
Teachers will have to adapt to fewer materials and less support, making their jobs even more challenging.
I've already been accepted to a couple different internships, found programs where after each year of college I get to come back and work and get to make a little bit of money as well. And I believe that there's already been some money removed from Wake County and that I've been having to send emails to double check if I'm still even eligible.
If budgets are cut or reduced, both students and teachers will feel the impacts it will have on their school life. These are some of the possible effects that could happen if this executive order gets passed. I'm Hayden Terpolowski from Mustang News.
Now, a follow-up story by Alex Lucy and Wyatt Kelly on budget cuts on special programs and lunch.
Hello, I'm Wyatt Kelly. The Trump administration is pushing for reductions in educational funding and are trying to eliminate the Department of Education. Today, I'm meeting with Ms. Schultz to hear how these budget cuts will affect programs at Middle Creek.
Well, anytime schools face budget cuts, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. Federal funding being cut impacts also state funding and the resources and how they're utilized at each school.
One program that relies on school funding is the free and reduced lunch program. How the loss of this program affects students.
Having access to free school lunch helps me out, helps my family financially, helps me not have to worry about stress of where my next meal is coming from, and it just makes life easier.
Additionally, programs that serve smaller groups of students, such as the special programs, are more likely to be impacted by budget cuts. But how will these cuts harm the learning experiences of these students?
Budget cuts as far as special education, it really negatively impacts our classroom. We rely on extra funding in order for students to receive additional supports like occupational therapists, speech therapists, in addition to additional tangible resources like communication devices. And without appropriate funding, that means that families are relying on their own funds to provide those resources, which can be really inequitable.
Overall, the defunding of education programs has potential to lower the quality of education students receive. I'm White Kelly, reporting for Mustang News.
Big raises would come from teachers in North Carolina under a new bill filed. State Representative Parish filed a bill to raise teacher pay from $9,000 to $12,000 per year, depending on the years of the teacher's experience. The bill would also restore extra pay for teachers with a master's degree. In recent years, lawmakers have prioritized bigger pay raises for earlier career teachers and raises of only a few $100s for the most experienced of teachers. The change would significantly boost the state's standing in the southeastern region in terms of teacher pay, where overall North Carolina is constantly towards the bottom among states for both beginning and average teacher pay. In recent years, House Republicans have proposed a larger raise for state employees and teachers. But overall, these proposals have been constantly shot down by Republicans in the Senate, who have prepared to spend the money on tax cuts, private school tuition, and vouchers and other priorities. In the end, adding these raises for teachers and other state employees are anticipated to be included in the budgets this year.
Next up, we have ACT prep from teachers and counselors.
MCHS is preparing for the ACT, which will be administered on Wednesday, March 12th for all juniors. I sat down with Mr. Ruggiero, one of Mill Creek's counselors, to get his thought on the test.
The ACT is a great opportunity for students to kind of showcase their college readiness. And so for different colleges, a lot of them will use ACT scores to give out like first year scholarships for freshman admissions.
MCHS counselors are a key part of the student's pathway to college and emphasize benefits of taking the ACT.
Especially if students are going to even a two-year college. These scores can be used to place students out of like remedial classes where they don't earn any credits. They really just have to take them to be able to take the normal English and math courses, but if they have an ACT score that places them out of those, then they can actually jump right into the normal English and math classes. There's also a science section on the ACT, which is not on the SAT. So if there are students that are stronger in science, they could always showcase their science aptitude on that assessment.
His advice stems to underclassmen in their test preparation.
In our freshman meetings and our sophomore meetings, we let everybody know junior year you're taking a college admissions test. And this test could potentially be used to help you gain admissions to a college or university. Why not take a couple months and prepare and do well? Try to get as high a score as you can.
It's safe to say that counselors understand the importance of the upcoming ACT and look forward to helping the next generation of college students. Reporting live from Mill Creek High School, I'm Declan Anderson with Mustang News.
A follow-up story by Ella Clinton and Uriah Akpara on how students feel and prep for the ACT.
Middle Creek juniors are preparing for one of the most important tests of their academic career, the ACT. There are 3 parts to this test: reading, math, and science.
I feel nervous for the math part of the test and also time management.
This will be taking place on Wednesday, March 12th. With the pressures mounting, many are finding unique ways to manage the stress and maximize their performance.
I go to coffee shops and I sit down my stuff and I try to study for the parts of the test I feel nervous for.
Students are trying to excel because doing great on this exam means opportunities for scholarships and acceptance to top schools.
To prepare, I've been using Bluebook and YouTube for study methods. I feel nervous about the ACT coming up because I have to prioritize studying for the SAT and the ACT at the same time.
I'm Uriah Akpara with Mustang News.
In the 2025-2026 school year, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association will be undergoing a conference realignment. This will change who teams play during their season.
I see the realignment as a positive change for our program. Being one of the smaller schools in Wake County, playing in the 6A division, we're probably in the old SWAC conference that we were in. We were, most schools in the conference had over 1,000 kids more than us. So being able to be in the playoff scenarios with schools that are our size, I think is going to help us out tremendously down the road.
The conferences are chosen based on school population size. This time they were designed to represent a big 32 model.
I think any team that we are going to play is going to be a challenge, and we just got to do our part of making sure we're ready to go for that challenge to make sure that we can handle it.
This new alignment is pretty solid for our fans. I think our fans will be very involved.
They gave it the best shot. That's the conference we're in. We're going to play it. We're ready to go.
I'm Ella Clinton, reporting for Mustang News.
North Carolina's Department of Public Instruction has proposed a major revision through the K-12 English Language Arts standards, aiming to simplify instruction and improve student literacy. The draft, now open for public comment, includes cutting the number of standards in half and restructuring English 4 for high school seniors. The plan groups standards into a broader grade bands rather than individual grade levels, allowing teachers to cover fewer topics in greater depth. The change aligns with the phonics-based science of reading approach, which emphasizes long-term mastery over rush instruction. For high school seniors, English 4 would expand into 3 tracks: STEM, arts, and literature, offering more relevant options to keep students engaged. DPI officials stress that inspections remain high, but the new construction will help students develop a stronger reading and critical thinking skills. The standards will undergo farther revisions before the State Board of Education votes next year, with public input playing a key role in shaping the final vision.
Now, from Ella Lancaster and Olivia Norris, we have a teacher spotlight on Miss Jean.
Miss Jean is a first-year English teacher here at Middle Creek.
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I used to set up my dolls when I was a kid and pretend that I was teaching them like their ABCs. So yeah, I always knew I wanted to teach. I think what inspired me to become an English teacher is I had really great teachers in high school that kind of taught me to be the best version of myself, and I want to be able to do that for other kids. I went to Rowan University, a small teaching college in New Jersey, and I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, so it was kind of just an easy transition for me from high school to college to figure out what I wanted to do.
As part of her education, she taught at a small high school near her college.
It shaped my approach to teaching just because I learned that you have to be adaptable. You can't just be rigid and strict with everything. Some things have to change, and you just kind of have to go with the flow and work with your students and what's best for them.
Miss Jean is committed to making a difference in the lives of her students and making learning fun.
Everybody has their own life and their own struggles, and you want to kind of just be able to work with your students and meet them where they're at rather than try and treat everyone the same. I think being able to teach a book that I think students will like kind of excites me. It makes me happy just because I know a lot of people don't like to read. But when you get something that catches people's attention, it's always a good thing. My main hope is that students feel like they were important in my class.
I'm Olivia Norris, reporting for Mustang News.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joy Parish, here with Caroline Harden, and we'll see you next week on Mustang News.